Time for Ask the Expert. Hollingsworth, phone in with your questions this morning. There's the phone number, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. You can also tweet us with your questions at CTV Ott Morning Live. Message us. We have a, of course, active Facebook page, CTV Ottawa Morning Live. And Brenda Hollingsworth is here, personal injury lawyer. For more information to talk about this specifically, there you can see www.askbrenda.ca. Good morning. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
So we're going to focus specifically this morning on disability. So give me first and foremost the umbrella of what we're going to talk about to the end of the show.
Right. So a lot of times people become disabled from work. So either they are sick or they have an injury, a chronic problem. Mental health is often an issue that comes up, and they need to go off work. And if they're fortunate, they have a disability policy. So it's what happens when the disability policy doesn't do what you want it to do that we're going to talk about.
You were telling me before we came on there are people who don't realize they have a disability policy.
Right. We have had people who've had to leave work and they actually quit their jobs instead of applying for long-term disability because they didn't know they had it. So that's something, when you initially start your job, you might sign up for benefits and you sign all these forms and you know you have dental and you know you have glasses, but you might not know that you have disability insurance.
Let's do 101 here. What is a disability policy?
So that is a policy, an insurance policy that will pay to replace your income, usually not 100% of your income. Sometimes it's 60, sometimes 70. Some really good ones are 90. And it'll replace part of your income while you are off work due to a disability or an illness.
Really? How long does it last?
It depends on the policy. So this is a contract. So sometimes it will last until you reach a certain age. Often it's 65. Sometimes it's time limited. It really depends on the policy that either you personally purchased or your employer purchased.
If it's an employer purchase policy, do they decide when to cut you off?
No. So your employer typically is not really involved in the administration. Often they want to be hands-off, and often they are hands-off.
So basically your file goes over to the insurance company.
That's right. And sometimes insurance companies hire an administrator who will do the paperwork for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how often do you have to be, I guess, re-evaluated? It depends on the injury, but is there a standard practice?
Yeah, so at the beginning, when you first apply for disability insurance, you have to submit all your paperwork, typically a letter from your doctor, and sometimes the insurance company will make a decision right then and there. You're accepted or you're not accepted. If you're accepted, that's great, and depending on the nature of your illness, if it's something that you're expected to recover from, they will check in, and there isn't actually a typical rule. It's sort of, they make a decision based on what type of situation you're in, what your illness is.
Could this carry on regardless of your age right until what retirement age would be?
It could, if the policy goes till age 65. Often, once you're accepted on long-term disability, and let's say there's a period of a couple of years where they monitor you closely, often at that point they decide, okay, this person's not coming back, we're not going to continue to adjust the file.
I hear of stories where people have been cut off, or the insurance company deems that they don't appreciate the evidence that you have provided from the doctor's note. That's where they turn to people like you. That's
right. So if you get denied or you get cut off, that's time when you want to consult a lawyer.
And then what kind of information do they need when they come to you?
Well, typically you're going to want to bring as much of your medical information as you have. Sometimes you've had a letter from your doctor that's gone with your application, and your application itself, hopefully you have a copy of it. So that would be what we would want right off the bat, as well as any letters that you've received from the insurance company telling you we haven't accepted you or we're cutting you off. So that's kind of our starting point.
Do you see a lot of companies that are cutting off and it's not valid reasons why?
Well, every single time someone has come to us with a denied long-term disability claim, we've been able to have it either reinstated or settled.
Really?
So it doesn't, most of the time, insurance companies honor disability policies, but sometimes they don't. And we have a really good track record of getting people back on claim.
And what makes the difference? How are you so successful?
Well, oftentimes the problem is that you've gone to your family doctor to fill out the form, and maybe he or she hasn't spent the time or didn't know how to fill it out. And so they didn't answer the important questions that the insurance company is asking. Sometimes they'll just write, depression, but they won't explain that it prevents you from working. Because, there are people who suffer from different illnesses who are able to work. But really the letter has to answer the question, can you work? So that's that's an issue.
We're only getting started. This is Bell Let's Talk To, so I want to
Yes.
focus after the break, if we can, on mental health issues.
Sure.
Because we're redefining the way we look at it in this day and age, and I'm wondering how it's affecting disabilities. We'll do
Right.
that, of course. And you can also send us your questions for Brenda Hollingsworth, of Auger Hollingsworth. There's the phone number, 613-789-6559, and the extension is 2803. You can also tweet at us, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca. If you want to email us, Facebook us, you'll find us at CTV Ottawa Morning Live.